friends, tonight for dinner I want to cook something comforting and delicious. Let's make beef bourguignon. The secret to beef bourguignon is that it's honestly just a really good stew. And like with most stews, it's very forgiving. It's one of those recipes that you do a little bit of prep to get everything going on your stovetop, pop it in your oven and let it go. You don't have to worry about it, you don't have to babysit. And yes, it's easy to misconstrue a long cook time with a lot of work, but as I mentioned, this recipe is a quick 10-15 minutes on your stovetop. Put it in your oven for 2 to 3 hours, and before you know it, you have the most delicious dinner that also is great as a freezer staple. I make a big batch of this on a weekend, and then I have it whenever that craving hits for a really good hearty stew in the depths of winter. To get started, we're going to crisp up some bacon in a nice large Dutch oven. I definitely recommend somewhere between a 6 and 8 quart Dutch oven, and make sure that the pot that you are cooking your stew in is oven safe. I've also preheated my oven to 325 degrees, so as soon as all of my core ingredients are ready, I can just toss my Dutch oven into my oven and let it go. To get my bacon started, I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to a pot, and I'm going to dump in all of my bacon. I've gone ahead and have cut my bacon into about 1/2-inch pieces, so that way I can get nice crispy chunks that I'll use in the final dish. Now, while our bacon is crisping up, we're going to treat our beef. And I know beef is expensive these days, but what I love about this recipe is that it's all about the cheap cuts of meat. So we're using a beef chuck roast that we've cut into about 2 to 3-inch pieces, and I have about 3 pounds here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just pat dry all of my beef pieces just to make sure that they brown and don't steam when I go to brown them in the pot. Because of the volume of beef, you're going to want to brown your beef in batches, for sure. Our bacon is crisp. We're going to remove it from our Dutch oven. And I'm just going to let it drain on a paper towel lined plate. And we'll reserve the bacon fat for browning our beef. My big tip, of course, to any really well-cooked dish is to have all the components properly seasoned as they enter the pan. This is none truer than when you're cooking any kind of animal-based protein, but especially beef. So right now I'm seasoning up with some salt and pepper the first side of our beef pieces, and then once they hit the pan, I'll season the second side. As you can see, we've developed some really amazing deep brown fond on the bottom of our pot. We want all of those yummy brown bits because that is going to add to the overall flavor profile of the final dish, and it's going to really just take it up a notch. With that being said, I've prepared all of our other ingredients that are going in right after this beef comes out. We have carrots, celery, garlic, and then we will add in some tomato paste and then some flour just to help bring everything together before we add back in our bacon, our beef, and the rest of our ingredients to make this delicious stew. All right, let's add in our celery and our carrots. And we're gonna go ahead and season with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now the water in the vegetables will help to start to deglaze the pot, but once we add in our beef stock and our wine, that will really be the finishing touch on making sure that all of those brown bits come up off the bottom of the pan. Let's add in our garlic. And we're gonna allow our veggies to soften for about 2 to 3 minutes, or until the celery becomes slightly translucent, just so that way the garlic takes off that raw bite and has cooked a little bit down. Now that our veggies have cooked down, I'm going to add in our tomato paste, about 3 tablespoons. You want the tomato paste to cook down and really become a deep burgundy brick red color. That's gonna allow that rawness of the tomato paste to cook out, for it to caramelize and intensify in flavor. We're using pearl onions today. These little bad boys are just little dynamite mini bombs of flavor. They are so good and definitely worth getting. Now, they can be a pain in the you-know-what to peel. So if you don't want to go through that whole process, and I'm with you, you can find these in your freezer section in most grocery stores these days. If you don't want to deal with the hassle of tracking these guys down, 2 medium onions diced pretty large, like roughly chopped, or 1 large onion works well too. Let's add these in. And the reason why I add the onions in after the tomato paste is because I want the tomato paste to easily distribute inside the pan before adding the onions in, because the onions are a bit bigger. Now, if you're using chopped onions, add the chopped onions in when you add the garlic, the carrots, and the celery. Now that all that is incorporated in our pot, I'm gonna add our flour.
Now, if you wanted to make this,
now that our flour has cooked out just a little bit and our vegetables have thickened up in the pot, we're finally going to add in probably your favorite of this recipe and mine, which is the wine. We're using a whole bottle of wine here today. My recommendation is that it doesn't have to be expensive, but it does need to be something that you like to drink. If you don't drink or don't want that wine flavor in your stew, just sub it out with more beef stock. We're using a whole bottle of wine and 2 cups of beef stock to add to our dish today. So lastly, before we pop this guy into our 325-degree oven, we're going to add in 2 bay leaves, about 5 to 6 sprigs of thyme, our reserved bacon, my little friend, and of course our beef. It looks so good and it smells amazing. I'm gonna pop a lid on her, stick her in the oven, and then we'll see her in about 2.5 to 3 hours.
About 20 minutes before your beef bourguignon is ready to come out of the oven, you're going to go ahead and saute your mushrooms in about 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Season them with salt and pepper and saute until golden.
The timer just went off. Let's get our beef bourguignon out of the oven. Earlier, you would have seen me make our mushrooms, saute them up, season them up with a little bit of butter, salt and pep to add into our stew. This is the last thing that's going in here. Let's add these in. And the reason for cooking the mushrooms separately is just to help them from not disintegrating and kind of getting lost in this big, beautiful pot of deliciousness. Let's ladle ourselves a bowl, shall we? This is so good. And truth be told, I'm not a big beef person, so for me to shout from the rooftops how good this is, that's saying something. In my humble opinion, this is better than Julia Child. It's the thing you want to eat on a Sunday. It's the thing you want to eat when it is howling outside with wind and rain and cold weather. Roll up with this and you are good to go. Thanks so much for joining me in my kitchen this evening. I'm going to scarf down that bowl of beef bourguignon for dinner tonight and be so grateful and thankful that I made that. I mean, I am right now. But if you want to make it, check out the link down below to our January meal prep guide. In there, you'll have not only this recipe, but recipes for a whole host of other meals that are great for kicking off this time of the year. And if you liked this video, please do comment down below and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye!